I'm Mahesh Ramasubramanian, co-founder and CEO of Loom.ai, and I'm an outlier.
Welcome to Outlier on Air with Ever Gonzalez, the show where we interview the founders, disruptors, and mavens of the world. Learn how grit, failure, and success are all a part of the entrepreneurial journey.
Hey everybody, welcome to Outlier on Air, the podcast where we interview founders, disruptors, and mavens. As always, I'm your host, Ever Gonzalez. On today's episode, we have Mahesh Ramasubramanian. Mahesh has more than 15 years of experience leading visual effects and technology teams in crafting some of the top films of all time, including the Shrek and Madagascar franchises at DreamWorks Animation. Now at LoomAi, he wants to create 3D avatars for every consumer to bring visual identity back into virtual conversations in chat and VR. He holds a master's in computer graphics from Cornell and an MBA from UCLA-Anderson. Mahesh, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
We're excited to have you for a few different reasons. You just announced, you came out of stealth mode recently here with your company that we're going to get into, but you've been working hard on this for quite a while. You're getting a lot of traction now. And so we're excited to have you here. Now, before we officially do that, where are you calling us from right now?
Calling from San Francisco, California.
And of course, I would consider that the mecca of startups and entrepreneurship and everything that's exciting with tech and a lot of different things going on out there. What's it like for you working out of San Francisco in the space that you're working in right now? Is it a plus? Is it are there things that you are not as comfortable with? What's it like for you?
Oh, I love it here. The interesting thing is I don't live in San Francisco. I actually live in Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
And when I decided to start this company, I was looking for the best place to begin and then grow it. And, California as a whole is a great ecosystem for startups. And I felt like the technology I needed to build at the beginning was going to be beneficial starting in San Francisco. And, I'm expecting a lot of my partnerships to be in entertainment, which will bring me back to Los Angeles. So I'm going to be flying around a little.
Which is okay, right? As an entrepreneur, as the head of the company, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
So now, like I mentioned, you're receiving a lot of attention from different media outlets because of Loom.ai. You just came out of stealth mode this week, which is the mid-December for those that are listening afterward. And you're receiving some pretty good press. Now, tell us about Loom.ai, what it is, how it works. What are you trying to accomplish with it?
Sure. Yes, exciting times for us and a little scary too, having all this attention. So Loom.ai is a technology platform for creating personalized 3D avatars that can bring VR, messaging, games to life. We when I tell you a little bit more about my background, it'll make sense how we came to this.
Yeah, let's get into your background and then move our way up to here so it makes sense. I want to paint the picture of who you are and why you're doing this exactly right now. Your background is in you come from DreamWorks. Let's talk about DreamWorks for a sec. The work that you were doing there specifically that led you into Loom.ai.
Sure. So I've worked at DreamWorks Animation for 15 years. I was a visual effects supervisor. I started on Shrek. So think of me as the green Shrek guy. And most recently, I was heading all the visuals that were created on Madagascar 3 and Home, working directly with the director and producers and the studio. Very exciting work, and absolutely loved it, and continue to be excited about it. But what I saw happening was, we were building these amazing visuals and creating digital characters from actors for the big screen. But I started noticing that the audience rather than being passive and consuming this, they were moving into being more of an active participant. So as times are changing now, the medium is also changing. A couple of things are happening. One is the audience wants to participate, and the technology is at a place where we can do even more than just creating images. So I teamed up with an old friend of mine. His name is Kiran Butt, and he was the head of performance capture and computer vision at Lucasfilm. You can think of him as the Hulk guy. He was the guy who made Mark Ruffalo's performance get into the Hulk.
Which he looked great, by the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
So very, very talented.
Absolutely challenging. The work we've both been doing is really challenging, needs a big team, lots of computing power. You're talking about like 6 months of work, millions of dollars, and big studio infrastructures to build these digital actors. But the thing that Kiran and I got together to achieve is we feel that every consumer needs their digital actor. It shouldn't just be reserved for the movie stars. Each person should be a luminary. That's how Loom came into being, from luminary. We want to be able to somehow condense all of this know-how that we have into a very simple API where a consumer can simply feed one photograph of themselves, and that should result in a 3D animated version of themselves. Once that's possible, suddenly it's really transformative because now the audience can actually be virtually present and interact with the content. Imagine virtual reality. Imagine the consumers getting into games, into e-commerce, seeing themselves in clothing. You can imagine social and messaging where your emojis are yourself and really personalized. So that's kind of the journey we've taken. And earlier this year, Kiran and I, who both of us have been at these big companies for more than a decade each, said, you know what, it's time to take a jump.
Yeah, that's funny. I want to stop there for a sec. For the most part, most people would say, "Man, Lucasfilms and DreamWorks, I've made it. I'm here for life." You were basically at the top of your game with very, very good companies that are pushing the boundaries of tech and creativity and things like that. Why that thought of, hey, maybe we need to move on and do our own thing? I mean, that's, first of all, it's scary, right? Second of all, you're working with great companies. What kind of gave you that push for you and your partner to kind of get out there and do something that's kind of unknown? I mean, it can certainly fail, right?
Absolutely. And, my answer is going to resonate with all your viewers. I love being on this show because I feel like I'm amongst a brotherhood of entrepreneurs and founders.
Absolutely.
So we are not happy with status quo. I think there are many aspects to it. So let me start with first of all, we are keeping an eye on where technology is going, and what more can we do. So you're never satisfied with what's being done, and certain in these bigger companies, it takes a little longer, and they need the market to be more mature before they can transition. So in some ways, it's great to be at a big company with a lot of resources, but it doesn't make the best business sense for them to take these risky moves. There's something about each one of us. And just so you guys know, I love horror movies and roller coaster rides. So that's something about me which made me feel like I was a little comfortable at doing what I was,
That's
and
funny. That is
and
funny.
I thought, I should push myself. Now, one of the things I did, which I don't know whether I'd recommend it to others, is um, I actually left DreamWorks before I knew what I was going to do.
Oh, really?
I had an idea of things that I was going to try, but as the other entrepreneurs would know here, your idea keeps evolving. You're not sure which is actually going to stick. Um, but a part of me wondered whether I should do a lot of that thinking process while still having one foot in my past career. But the other half of me, which actually won out, decided that, you know what, jump in with both feet, be in a completely scary spot, and see if you can swim.
So you left DreamWorks. So you started LoomAi about March. When did you leave DreamWorks?
I
What?
left in January.
Okay, so it took you, what, 2 months or so? So it
Yeah.
wasn't, you weren't sitting around for very long before this idea came and you started this with your co-founder. What were those 2 months like? I mean, if I was one of your friends or family member, I'd be like, first of all, why would you quit an amazing company, and why would you quit without even having an idea, even, right? I can see if you had an idea, but even without a inspiration and an idea, that would be tough to swallow. So what were your friends and family members like?
Yeah, I mean, I did have ideas, but
Uh-huh.
nothing concrete
Uh-huh.
to actually present as a business plan and get investors and others excited. But yeah, I first of all gave myself a lot of time. I didn't put pressure in saying that, oh, I have to come up with something in a couple of months. And when I say come up with it, I mean actually forming a company with an actual business model.
Mm.
I first gave myself a whole year. I said, hey, you know what? This is my year. I'm going to take the whole year off. I'm going to do it the right way, not feel pressured about um, taking the first thing that comes up. Because you're going to hear a lot of ideas from people who are all your well-wishers and investors and advisors. And you should kind of figure out what is the DNA of your company. So give yourself some time. There's enough pressure out there. So first of all, I gave myself a lot of time, and I once I did that, and I told my closest friends and family, they were willing to not ask me every other week, hey, what's happening?
Nice.
So that took the kind of a little bit of the load off my shoulders, and I was partnering with someone incredible. So that's something I would definitely encourage the other listeners. Please don't do this alone.
Hmm.
Find a co-founder whom you really trust and you can work with, because there are many ups and downs, and you need someone kind of at the same wavelength as you. Um,
Is
so
this is this your first venture on your own? I mean, is your first
yes,
entrepreneur? Okay.
this
Uh,
is my venture. I must add one thing. I am not as I'm not a maverick like others, other listeners of yours,
uh-huh.
in that I do things a little bit more planned. Even though I kind of jumped out uh, and did not have another business in hand, I did prepare myself. So um, while I was at DreamWorks, I got my MBA. So I did a fully employed MBA program at Anderson, UCLA.
Uh-huh.
Before that, I've had a master's in computer graphics, and I made sure I had some of the tools you need, um, and the network, building a little bit of the network, having all of that in place, so that when you do jump, you have some kind of safety net. Part of that safety net is built with your experiences and resources, and partly, the network you've built. So, yeah, I did have that kind of, uh, if I can say, invisible safety net.
Sure. Which I'm assuming gave you a little bit of confidence as well to kind of go out and do this. Now, I'm
Yeah.
I'm fascinated a little bit by your story because this is your first real go at it on your own, right? Your first entrepreneur venture. But I consider you, obviously, with the work that you've done, a creative, right? I mean, you're definitely a creative, but now you're in the role of actually running a business as well, which sometimes they're obviously two different things sometimes. Are you comfortable in the position you're in? Are you spending more time being the creative or the business guy, the business manager, and helping grow the company?
So definitely more of the latter.
Uh-huh.
So I am the business guy. I am responsible for, as the CEO, for external facing things and building the team and all of that. And you know what? I love everything.
Good.
The job I had before this as a visual effects supervisor, DreamWorks was also it was both mainly creative, but technical, and I was leading a team of 400 people. So it had a lot of different aspects, which I really enjoyed. And the thing which I kind of craved for was starting something from literally zero, and dealing with so many, there's so much I didn't know that I would have to deal with. The things you mentioned were actually the nice parts. Going and doing business development and all of that is the cool stuff. There's all of this other things.
Oh, for sure.
Like, who's going to build your web page?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to design your logo? So there are all these small things which you could outsource, but you know what? Many of those things we chose to do in-house. And those are the few moments of my creativity coming out. And, doing things in a grassroots manner is something I would definitely encourage other founders, at least to start with, because you learn from that, you appreciate it, you kind of add your touch to things at the beginning. So, no, I actually enjoy all aspects of the work, and that's what's exciting. Every week is kind of a new push. I think if I had to just do one thing, and whatever it is, I would get a little frustrated. So,
oh, really? Okay. It's funny because we've had other creatives on the show, and now they're CEOs, and now they're running their own show, and a lot of times they're frustrated, saying, "Well, I spend most of my day running the business and not doing what I'm really passionate about, which is building or create whatever it is that they're doing." But good. It sounds like you've transitioned into a role that you not only enjoy but seem to be good at, because of obviously all the press that you're getting, all the good things that people are saying about what you're doing with LoomAi. Now let's get into the details a little bit more of LoomAi now that we're back here. So we're able to create 3D avatars, right? I mean, there are other programs and other things, companies out there that they kind of do this a little bit. How is this different?
Yeah, so
because it looks absolutely different, right? From the videos that I've seen and the research that we've done, it doesn't look like everything out there that's available now.
No, that's good to hear, and that's also something which before I answer your question directly, it's something that as a founder you ask yourself right at the beginning, which is is the problem worth solving?
Mm-hmm.
And, do people want it really? And what we were setting out to solve is not, when we think of an avatar, it could be just a digital representation. And what we are doing is very different in that, first of all, it is personalized. So it is your avatar. It's meant to capture your likeness. It's not good enough if it's just something cute and doesn't look like you. Mm-hmm. It has to be something that you can associate with, your friends can see and recognize you in it. So the personalized aspect is a first important differentiator when you compare it with other avatar builders, because there are all these avatar builders in games and VR, but you're kind of selecting your nose, your ear, you're selecting aspects and trying to build something that looks like you, but hey, no one's going to look at it and say that's you.
Yeah.
So that's important. The other big thing is we want to make sure it comes to life. And what I mean by that is it must be animatable and interactive and emotive. So what in the movies, Kiran and I have brought characters, iconic characters to life, like Hulk and Shrek. And to bring something to life, it's one thing to just build a model of the person. It really comes to life and has an emotional connection when it moves. So we are very particular that the avatars we build of the consumers will be able to emote and move. So I guess the two words here are personalized and animatable 3D avatars. So those are a couple of big differences that we did not see in the current market.
Sure.
And once you have this, there could be a very transformative effect. Just think in the long term. We've seen in movies where you imagine, telepresence. Your virtual identity must live in the virtual world and kind of communicate for like you. And that's not possible with any of the technologies out there right now. And it's there are many things that have to come together, and we are building this small but important piece of the puzzle, which is building your likeness digitally and being able to have it move. So
I like this. I'm thinking of snippets of the Avengers and Shrek and these movies that we like, where the actor, right, the real life actor is reading the lines, and then they kind of have a split screen of the Shrek or whoever it is that they're doing, and their mouth moves like them, and their characteristics a little bit. So, like you were mentioning earlier, that's big bucks, multi-million-dollar projects. Now you're bringing it down to the average consumer.
Yep, 2 minutes to have it be done, completely automatic. Just feed it your photograph, and you're good to go.
So the process 2 minutes or so. So that's not bad. So who's this for? I mean, is this something that eventually I'm going to be able to go out there and buy, or are you selling back to studios or game, video game companies, or who's this for?
So the our company is we are using a licensing model, and our bigger hope is that we can capture as many people as possible, because I think everyone needs their digital kind of persona, and the way we want to do it is, rather than build the application or focus on distribution right now, it's more about let's get into platforms which already have a lot of users. So you can imagine different verticals where this would be really useful. Virtual reality, which is really picking up now, needs a technology like this to allow people to socialize within it. Facebook, all the companies, Google, everyone has talked about social VR being the next big thing. And to be able to socialize with anyone in VR, you need their avatar. And how cool would it be if that avatar actually looked like you and communicate? So, one of the verticals we will be targeting is VR and social VR. Other things are like in the social space, messaging, anywhere where you could use with adding a face, we want to be present. So you could be texting someone and your face shows up and, response. You could be sending emojis, but it would be your emoji laughing.
That's great. Now,
because
you brought up Facebook. Facebook, friend or foe for you right now? If you're allowed to talk about that.
No, absolutely. I mean, all friends.
Yes,
we need
because they've been talking about this. They've been doing a few different things, kind of behind the scenes a little bit. But it sounds like it's okay.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, there are so many things to tackle. We are trying to solve a piece of the puzzle, and you need the whole application, you need your friends, um, and we can enable and empower any and all of these companies so that you can actually bring your friend list into a VR experience.
What? So this, you've had good press, like we talked about up until this point. Your team has worked hard. You're doing some pretty cool things. What's right now for you and the company? What's the hardest part of what you're doing right now? I mean, it can't all be rainbows and flowers, right, and sunshine. There must be something that you're trying to overcome, or something that you're trying to work through.
Oh, of course, all the time.
Yeah.
So, it's this is just the beginning.
Yes.
The fact that we've come out of stealth, we've built a product which already has captured people's imagination, and we are at a point where we can have pilot partners use our technology for actual real applications. So that's all exciting. But there's a lot more to do, and I'll kind of give you my answer in the technology realm, where we have more technology to build. So I'll tell you a little bit about it, and actually getting to consumers through customers. So we are looking for business partners and working with pilot partners. That's an important aspect, and I to do all of this faster, I need to grow my team. So let me start with the technology. So technology-wise, we have avatars now which can be animated because they have a facial musculature in it. We want to slowly add the component of being able to train your avatar. So we think it's important that people are able to quickly build their avatar very easily and get excited by it. But then maybe they want to put in some more work so that you train your avatar to behave more like you. So the way you smile and the way I smile could be unique. Imagine you giving us another photograph of yours where you're smiling, and now the program knows that, oh, this is how you smile, so that it can customize its facial animation so that it knows how you smile. So there's this whole aspect of training and learning that we still have to. We are making inroads into it, but there's more we can do. On the partnership side, we are a very small team. Maybe I should start with my team size. We are just 6 of us, growing to 7 in the near term, and so fairly small team, but a lot of hard hitters with very seasoned, experienced people from 20 years of entrepreneurship experience, and experience in visual effects and face modeling. So got a strong team, but I have to grow it further, and we need to find pilot partners in all these different verticals. So that's another aspect we are carefully working with to find the right partners and the right applications to for Beachhead.
How are you being received? I mean, are you? Is this the right time? Are you too early? It feels like you're coming out right when you need to be coming out, right?
Yes.
What's the response from potential partners?
Oh, it's very encouraging, and right now we are heavily backlogged.
Oh, really?
Trying to just there's a lot of interest. One thing that's become very apparent in the last, I'd say 6 to 9 months is, at the beginning when we started the company, we had to explain to people, why do you need the kind of avatar we are building? And now that question is no longer asked. With all the news that's come out of Facebook and Google and social VR, and suddenly the Bitmojis of the world, there is that isn't a question we have to answer, and we can directly go into the next step, which is, how can we use this technology now? This is what we're trying to do. How can it plug in? Of course, the ambitions people have are really big, but we need to start with a specific application and then grow. So no, we've got some really good reception, and we are excited to deploy it into real systems.
You've raised some capital. You have a good core team right now. You're trying to expand that. You have some partnerships. You're still working on a few more partnerships. So with all that being said, what is all of this going to look like in 3 years? Maybe that's an unfair question, but I mean, what's the next step, right? And I always pick 3 years just because it's not too far out. But for you, it's going to be moving quick. I'm assuming. Paint us a picture of what that's going to look like in your mind. You think?
Sure. It's funny. I can't think 3 years down the.
I bet.
As a founder, I'm thinking, what's happening next month, and maybe a year down the line. But of course, we have a vision that we paint for the future, and that's what gets the whole team excited. And I think in 3 years we will be working with lots of partners. Our API will be used very widely whenever people have to deal with faces, and there will be lots of very interesting applications in these virtual spaces where it's going to be new, because we've never had anything like this where you bring yourself into the experience. So it's going to be quite transformative when you can actually have a digital version of yourself, kind of represent and communicate with yourself. So maybe something specific would be social VR. I don't know if you or your users have tried a VR headset, but if you get in there and if you see an avatar like the one we build in VR, it's quite magical.
Really.
And if it's somebody you know or recognize and they can interact with them, oh my God, that'll be that'll be mind blowing. So where we are right now, you can see this other person. The other person is playing an animation, and the next step, which is going to happen very soon in the time of months, is being able to actually interact. So the animation that's being played is not, if I'd say, pre-baked. It is something that will respond to your actions within the virtual space. So
that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's very exciting. You're right there in the middle of it. So obviously the future looks bright for you and the company, right? But for you personally, what's the single most important reason for your success, you think, up until this point? Right, we all have different talents, we all have different skill sets, but what's the number one reason for your success?
Sure. First thing I'll say is, rather than calling it a success, I'll say my nose is above the waterline.
Okay.
That's how it always feels. Like there's so much to do, and as long as my nose is above the waterline, I'm happy.
Yes.
And so, yes, I'm happy right now because we've been able to take a lot of knowledge we've from our past. This is not something we've built coming right out of school. It's something that we've worked on passionately for years. We are packaging it in a different form, and we've come up with patent pending new technology. But we have dealt with this problem, of creating faces in the past. So I'd say having come from this background gives us a unique advantage in trying to solve this problem. We've assembled a team which has that kind of experience.
Are you concerned that some of the big boys out there are going to look at this or already looking at this and saying, there's no reason why we can't compete or why we can't do something similar. Is that a concern? Are you losing sleep over that? With their deep pockets and going out there and trying to ramp up as quickly.
No, that's a valid question and concern a founder should have. At the same time, I think there's just so much to solve. There's when you talk about virtual reality, wow, that's so many things to solve, and there are so many people with so many different experiences coming into it, trying to tackle each different aspect. I think and I hope that the other folks will see that, hey, we've got a tiny group of experts tackling this important problem. Why don't we go and solve the other hard problems?
Yes, nice.
So that we can all come together and make magic. It's not enough, like I mentioned earlier, it's not enough if you just had your avatar. Once you have that, now you need to find a way to drive it. You need all this hardware to drive it. You need to speed up your processors. You need the experiences, the applications, obviously, convert all the mobile users into becoming VR users. So there's so much to do that, hopefully we all kind of help each other. And at the end of the day, the audience is the winner.
Well, we're excited to continue to follow you and all the things that you're doing and see where this leads. It's pretty exciting, for us. It seems like it's a little bit more accessible, and it's just going to get even better moving forward. So for you though, as we wrap up, when all of this is said and done, right at the end of all of this, how do you want to be remembered?
Wow. Maybe I took a swing. Let's put it that way. I took a chance and risked a lot, and that has made me more alive. And that sounds like what I'd like to be remembered as.
I like that. I like that quite a bit. You took a swing.
Thank you.
And you took a chance, right? You stepped out there. You jumped, and now
Yes.
you're building something awesome. So congratulations. Now I can already tell with this episode that our audience is going to eat this up, and they're they can relate, and they're excited about this the technology, and I think that we're going to get pretty good engagement from this. So for those that are listening that now know a little bit more about you, obviously what you're trying to accomplish, and they want to connect with you, they want to read more about you, where can we find you online?
You're definitely go to our homepage. It's Loom.ai, Loom.ai. We have lots of information and demos there. I think when the users see the demo videos we've put out, they'll get a better sense of the things I've been talking about and the challenges that are involved. Another way to follow us is through Twitter. Our handle is Loom_AI. Definitely connect with my company, both in Twitter and on our demo page online. We have a sign up for potential developers and partners to use our technology. Please sign up.
Very nice. So Outliers, you can go to outliermagazine.co. That's outliermagazine.co. First of all, subscribe to our podcast, rate, review it. But there you're also going to be able to find more information. We're going to have the website, social media links, all directed to LoomAi. Mahesh, this has been amazing. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, for your words of wisdom, for insight into this new venture, this new company, this new tech that we're excited about. We obviously wish you much success, and no doubt that we're going to have you back on the show in a year or so, see where all this leads.
Thanks so much. And, it's amazing what you're doing, and bringing all these entrepreneurs together. And I think as long as we all support ourselves, it will not feel lonely.
I completely agree. So thank you very much for making it less lonely for us today. So we'll definitely be in touch soon.
Okay, thanks, Ever.
Perfect. Outliers, we'll talk to you tomorrow.